It is a great day to be alive, and I am so thankful for God, Jesus Christ, who lives in us. In today's video titled October 17th and the Julian Calendar as a question, I'm going to be picking up where I left off in my previous video as we talked about the date of October 17th and what is next. In this video, I'm going to also be sharing some things about XRP and LUNC and basically connecting the dots as it relates to the date of October 17th and the Julian calendar. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that I'm sharing is financial advice. I am simply sharing dreams and visions that I feel God has given me as it relates to crypto. Now, let's get into the video. So I want to pick up where I left off in the video titled October 17th response and what is next. The what is next part, I wasn't sure. And so I shared that I wanted to continue to pray about it, continue seeking God about the matter as to why the October 17th date, as far as it related to the market crash, how we saw something else occur as it relates to war, but at the same time, God still showed us something about the market crash. And so in this video, I shared how that as we were waiting for the October 17th date to roll around, I had a dream on October 15th. In this dream, I saw two pie charts, and they both were red and yellow, alternating colors. On one of the pie charts, I saw the name Bruno written at the top of it. Now, this dream is what I refer to as an interrupted dream, meaning that God is trying to show me something. He's trying to tell me that something is either missing or there's another detail that I need to show you. And so for me, I understood that there was something more to this October 17th date than what I had come to know. What I was able to gather from this dream is that Bruno, by looking up his birthday, I saw that his birthday was on August the 19th. His birthday is on August the 19th. August the 19th is a date that is connected to the blue moon. This means that his birthday was on the same day as the blue moon event. Also, on August 17th, there's another full moon event. That full moon event was the Hunter's moon. So what I'm looking at now is two full moon dates being combined, and I wasn't sure why when I had this dream. Moving on from there, I noticed, of course, the two red and yellow pie charts. Does this mean that there are two October dates? Does this mean October 17th, 2023 and 2024? And this is confirming that on October 17th of this year that the market crash is going to actually happen? That was the question that I had in my mind, but regardless, I knew that God was trying to show me something. He wanted me to see another detail, but what was it? And so on October 17th, the main topic for that day all over the news was about Hamas leader, the one who was the mastermind behind the October 7th event, was confirmed dead. With this being the case, this wasn't anything new as far as the market crash timeline, because God had been giving me dates after date after date. And on several of those dates derived, there was always something happening, some major event happening with the Israel war. So when I saw this wasn't a surprise. What was a surprise is the fact that they actually confirmed to the world that the number one person that they have been looking for has been confirmed dead. So all of this was major news to the world. And so according to the date that God had given, I was believing that the intention for this date was for the market crash. However, this happened instead. Again, I thought back on that October 15th dream and I said, okay, God, this is the shift. This is your way of coming to me, showing me that there's another detail, something that may have been overlooked, something that needed to be fully understood. And so again, I ended that video on the fact that God had given me two dreams, and from those dreams, I was able to do research on specific events as it relates to the Eiffel Tower, as well as an actual purchase of a stock. Both of these things took place in 1929. 1929 is the year known for, specifically October 29th, 1929, is known for the stock market crash. So this stock market date stood out a lot on October 17th, and I will explain why once again in a moment. Also, birthdays. Birthdays is something that God has been using as a way to help devise dates for this timeline throughout this entire process. I didn't understand why he wanted to use birthdays. I just followed his lead, but now I think I understand. So the October 29th date, 1929, has followed the timeline, as well as this birthday pattern. has followed the market crash timeline. Some examples of that is for its birthdays. As it relates to Tether, April the 11th, a dream about my brother-in-law and his birthday, and all of that as far as a dream about Tether, and the fact that Tether will fall, Tether will become unstable. After that dream, news followed up about the EU banning Tether. That was in July. Months later, following that, we see news about Coinbase will be delisting all of those stable coins that are not under compliance as far as the EU goes. And then finally, on the 25th, we heard news about the U.S. government investigating USDT company Tether for sanctions and violations. So steadily, we are seeing things about Tether being manifested as God has shown, that Tether is going to become unstable. Tether is going to fall. The next birthday on the list is Bernard's birthday. From the Baltimore, Ohio dream, I received the date of August 6th, and from that we saw that the Japan market crash occurred August 5th, August 6th, depending on where you are in the world, and that is what I am calling the third quarter market crash, because God has spoken to me that the markets will crash in the third and fourth quarter. He did not specify which market. During that time, I wasn't aware of that, but when the Japan market crashed on this particular date, I understood that he was not specific on which market. He just said third and fourth quarter. And finally, that brings us to the dream about Bruno and Bruno's birthday, which is August the 19th. And this altogether brings about the October 17th date because of those colors that I saw. But October 17th does not get a green check because we saw on October 17th there was not a market crash. There was not a fourth quarter market crash. So from looking at this chart, I'm thinking, God, there's so much coming together. What happened on October the 17th? What are the details? What did I miss? What was the shift? And so I began with the birthday patterns. Again, looking back at those things, and this brought me to the final birthday. And it is the birthday of the Hamas leader that was killed on October 17th. As you can see, his birthday is on October 29th. October 29th, which means if he had been born in 1929, his birthday would have been on the market crash date. Again, this is confirming the fact that God is doing something as far as his market crash. He's showing us something. He's pointing us in the right direction. I see God confirming war and specifying the coming market crash all in one day for the first time. I had never seen this before. Okay, God, I see all that. So what's next? What I've been praying about is this Julian calendar. Is it possible that I have the right date, October 17th, but I am using the wrong calendar? Is this the shift that God is trying to get me to see? And after doing that October 17th response video, I came across this Julian calendar in the comment section. And I do try to take the time to read comments, to respond to comments as much as possible. I don't have the opportunity always to answer every single comment or to respond to every single comment, but I do try to take the time to at least get to some of the comments. And one of the things that I saw, comments that I saw that I really, really loved, is the fact that someone commented on that last video saying how they loved how the body of Christ is coming together to help solve this puzzle, because so many people were commenting about this Julian calendar and the different things that it may be. For me, all of this exemplifies what God intends as far as this YouTube channel and as far as this wealth transfer community. This is what we're supposed to do. It's not always the weight of all of this to be on a few people to kind of bring what it is that God is saying, but at the same time, as a body, we work together. And so that really blessed me when I was able to see that comment and read how this individual was saying how he loves how the body of Christ is coming together to solve this puzzle, because that's what this really is. I thought about the Rubik's Cube, how that dream was specific to this October 17th date, and how all of this has been like a Rubik's Cube, very, very hard to solve and figure out. But God is dropping nuggets through his people, through his body, to help bring all of this together. And so another comment that I read that was specifically to the Julian calendar said that, what about the Julian calendar? This was used during the time of Jesus. And there was more that the person said in this particular comment. And they also pointed out a specific date, which I'm going to be sharing that date later in this video. But I thought to myself, well, what is Julian Calendar? Like, a lot of this stuff I don't know. And so, again, this is why it's important that the body of Christ come together, we work together, and to pray over all these things that are being shared. And so I began to do my research on this Julian Calendar while praying and reflecting on the Bruno dream. And so I decided to go back. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at all of the yellow and red dreams that God has given me, because I know that God is intentional. All of these red and yellow dreams, I know they're pointing to the October 17th date. That is how it all began, with that one market crash dream about the October 17th date on all of the ball pit balls. And as I began to go back and write down all of these dates in order, I saw that there were two sets. I'm looking at two sets here, and each set contains the same number but a different month. And so what I did was I designated a color to each set as a thinking guide to kind of help see, okay, Lord, I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm seeing two sets, and each set contains the same number, but it's in a different month. And they're alternating. And as I looked at the alternating colors, this reminded me of the pie chart that I saw in the Bruno dream. I also see two sets of yellow and red, meaning that the first two dates correlates with the first pie chart, and the last two dates correlates with the second pie chart. Am I looking at two October 17th dates, just not 2023 and 2024? Then 2025? But that will be three, because I saw October 17th pass in 2023, and I've just seen October 17th pass in 2024. 2025 will be three, and I only saw two pie charts in the Bruno dream. So then I began to apply what I saw as far as doing research on this Julian calendar and combining it with what was said in the comment section. The Julian calendar was a calendar used during the time of Jesus Christ and the early church. The Julian calendar was introduced by Julius Caesar in 46 BC. Julian calendar is 13 days behind our calendar. And so, for example, I put in the date of October 17th, the date that the Hamas leader was confirmed dead, October 17th. I put that date in, and the Julian date, 13 days behind us, was October the 4th. So that is an example of what I mean by the Julian date being 13 days behind our calendar date. And so our October 17th would represent the first pie chart. When the Julian calendar hits October 17th, our date will be October the 30th. And so when the Julian calendar hits October 17th, that will be considered the second pie chart. It reminded me of the seen but unseen, something that I shared in the video about the combo dream. Now I want to share the connection that I saw as far as the Bruno dream, how it connects to XRP and LUNC and USTC. I've already shared this in the previous video as it related to XRP, but I want to go over that again and then also include how this relates to LUNC. And to do that, we must go back to the blue moon, which the blue moon, as we know, was Bruno's birthday. And so here I've shared before in previous videos that the dream that I had about LUNC and USTC and how I saw the green candles that turned blue. And so now I'm looking at two sets of blue candles. I also shared in the video how XRP is related to this dream that I had about these two blue eggs, as well as the blue moon, because there are two scenarios that gives us a blue moon. I had this egg dream on August the 18th, and on August the 19th was the blue moon event. And so God began to show me connections between that and XRP. And later on, I was able to see the connection between the two blue candles in the dream that I had about LUNC and USTC. I also shared in the video how God was giving me confirmation of all of these blue moon events. People in one day, using the term blue moon, and how God gave me a dream that led me to a Facebook page about blue moon. So all these things about blue moon kept coming up, and I'm like, okay, God, I understand, and I really do believe that you're connecting blue moon to XRP and to LUNC. But for the most part, I felt like XRP stood out the most during that time. And as we go back to the Bruno dream, what I saw was two combined full moon, blue moon and the hunter's moon. The hunter's moon was the October 17th full moon. And so I'm seeing a combination of events. During this time, I didn't know why God was showing me two full moon events combining until October 17th. On October 17th, we heard news about XRP. Again, XRP is linked to the August 19th date for the blue moon. And so on October 17th, we heard about the confusion that went about with Ripple and the SEC and the forms that the SEC apparently seemed to have missed the deadline for. And so for me, all of that was confirmation that yes, I have been showing you in all of these blue moon dreams, in all of these blue moon events that has been happening around you, that this is connected to XRP. So now that August the 19th keeps coming up in a lot of ways, I decided to also put it into both calendars and compare dates. August the 19th, our calendar date, is the same as August the 6th in the Julian calendar date. So in a sense, we have two birthdays happening at the same time. We have Bernard's birthday on August the 6th, and we also have Bruno's birthday, August the 19th. Two people and two dreams that God has given me as far as different market crashes, because Bruno was tied to the third quarter market crash, which happened in August, and Bruno will have been tied to the fourth quarter market crash that would happen in October 17th. And so moving on from there, when it is August the 19th on the Julian calendar, it is September 1st on our calendar. And on September 1st, there was news come out of Rafah that 6 of the hostages that Hamas had taken on October 7th, they were found deceased. And so that was major news and a turning point actually in the Israel war, because from there we saw a lot more of Israel going in looking for these hostages. So backing up again to the 2 October dates, we're looking at October 17th, which has passed our calendar time, but October 30th is coming up. So my question is, God, should we be praying about this October 30th date as it relates to our calendar in comparison to the Julian calendar, which is their October 17th? Now getting back to Lunic, Bruno again was that August 19th date, connecting to the blue moon, connecting to XRP as well as Lunic. Looking at this date of October 30th, looking at that date, but also looking at a few weeks ago, talking about the terrible burns that would take place by October 30th. And so when I saw this 30th date, I totally forgot about Lunic burns until I saw Pastor Greg talking about the 6 more days and Lunic burns begin to happen. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just doing this, getting ready to do this video. And I saw the date of October 30th. And so I see a correlation there between, again, August the 19th and this October 17th date. The same individual that told me about the Julian calendar in the comment section also saw this. Not my research, theirs. They made note that the Hamas leader birthday was October 29th. That was his birthday. The Julian calendar would be October 16th. Comparing his birthday to the day that he died, based on the combination of the calendars, he was born and died on the same day. One last thing that I want to share as far as October 30th date, that was also pointed out by someone else in the comment section, that Kim Clement put out a prophecy about Halloween or strange occurrence will happen. And when I saw this 30th date, I was able to understand a little more as to why people were comparing this 30th date to the Kim Clement prophecy. Again, recognizing the above birthday and the possible use of the Julian calendar was not my research. These things were brought to my attention by viewers, subscribers, the body of Christ, the wealth transfer community coming together as we should. God is intentional, and I am very grateful for each of you. All the glory belongs to God. Again, I am still praying about this market crash date of October 30th, our calendar date, which equates to October 17th on the Julian calendar. So is this the shift that God is needing me to see? This Julian calendar. Lord, is this the shift? So let us continue to pray as we prepare for these things. Again, all of that with Lunic and the burns, October 30th. Praying about this October 30th market crash. So a lot to pray about, a lot to consider. Continue to pray for this wealth transfer community, for the church, for the body of Christ, that we continue to be what God intended for us to be, a body working together in unison. I believe when we all pray for the will of God, that He will begin to reveal many things to us. As we can see based on what happened yesterday on the 25th, a lot is unfolding as far as what I can see, this market crash timeline as it relates to war and what God has said about Palestine. And the best way to explain this is war. God is preparing His people. God is giving us a word, but it's up to us to decide what to do with it. Let's continue to pray for Israel. Let's continue to pray for our leaders and those that are in authority over us. Let's continue to pray that we continue to be obedient to God and stay focused on the purpose and the calling that He has on our lives. Until the next video, God bless.